Before I start this video, I just want to be clear that this isn't intended on being a flex about how much I read or how many books I get through and how big my brain is. All this was intended to be is a reflection on a month where I managed to read an awful lot of books and I got a lot of enjoyment from the process of reading them. So I looked back on this month and I thought about what were the things that I had in place that helped me to read so much material. Realistically, I'd rather someone read one book each month and make sure that they truly absorb the message and take the content and apply it into their own lives. I think that's a far better thing to do than to read plenty of books and have your library become more of a trophy cabinet. And it's you just showing off how well read you are or how cultured you are. We need to read, especially when it comes to books about personal development, finance, all of this stuff. We need to apply the lessons into our lives because knowledge without application it's nothing. It's nothing. We need to be applying what we read. But like I said, this month I've managed to read an awful lot and I wanted to give you guys some advice on how I've managed it. So hopefully it can help you to read more. Whether that means that you don't read at all and you're looking to get started, or you do read but you never feel like you get through enough or you're not absorbing it very well. The first thing I've done is I've set specific times to sit down and do it. Similar to going to the gym, you're not truly going to benefit from just going sporadically whenever you feel like it. You need to have a structure and there needs to be a level of discipline associated with the act. You know the benefits of going and working out regularly, and it's the same, you'll know the benefits of sitting down and regularly reading. But if you just do it whenever you kind of feel like it, you're going to tend to do it an awful lot less. It's a good thing to build a habit. So I now do it first thing in the morning. I sit down, I make either a coffee or a tea, and as I slowly start to wake up, I then begin to read. And I set a timer normally for half an hour. That's the minimum that I try to do. However, I often get to the end of the half hour and I will then do another half hour or another 15 minutes. The hard rule is that no matter how busy my day is, I ensure I get up early enough to have time to at least do my 30 minutes of reading. And then the next time I read is in the evening, and it's the last thing I do before I go to sleep. And I'm in bed and I've got a small reading light and it helps me to wind down. It obviously allows me to put my technology away, have my phone off, and I read. Again, it's around 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how tired I am, before I go to bed. Now, often I like to read one book at a time. However, I've actually found that having multiple books going at the same time is a great way of keeping you reading. Because this is what I find happens to a lot of people. They pick up a book that they want to read and they think they're going to benefit from. They get a few chapters in and the book for them becomes boring. It becomes unengaging. Instead of then stopping reading that book and going to pick up something else, similar to what you would do on TV, where you're watching a show and if you're not enjoying it, you probably just switch it off and change over to something. Instead, they put the book down and then there's this whole rhetoric of, yeah, I really need to finish that book. And the problem there is you've just stopped reading entirely. Surely it's better to just pick something else up and begin reading that rather than feeling this need to complete the book from start to finish. It's something that I'm still not quite sure is built into us, that we feel the need to start a book and then finish it before we then move on to the next one. I read 6 books through August and some of them were happening at the same time. For example, I'd have one book that I was reading in the morning and then another one that I'd be reading in bed. Sometimes one of them was great and I really absorbed into it and then that was the one I read it start to finish. But what I'm saying is don't make that a hard and fast rule for yourself that you need to finish the book that you've started straight away. That makes sense? The other thing that I would say is have a set place that you enjoy to read. And for me, it was on my sofa right back there. And that became my reading spot. And then of course my bed in the evening. And what that helped me do is get into the state of flow. I did a video last week about getting into the flow state. And I really find that environment is a huge part of that. And if you can have certain triggers and certain things that are in place that instantly tell your mind what we're about to engage in, what activity we're about to do, you tend to get zoned into what you're doing a lot quicker. So that's the biggest thing, is find a space to do your reading. Set yourself habits of when you're going to read and stick to them. And don't feel the need to read one book at a time and stay fully committed to it until the end. There's nothing wrong with reading a book, getting bored of it, and putting it down. Alternatively, and this is one that a lot of people will be shocked by, is you can skip a few chapters. If you're reading it and then the content doesn't feel related to you, don't feel the need to power through that chapter. I read a lot of business books and I really enjoy them, but there's always a chapter about how to get a promotion or how to get more flexible time from your boss. And I work for myself, so very rarely does that information truly apply to me. And I have no intention anytime soon of changing my work structure so that I would work for someone else. If I ever did, I know a massive selection of books where I could go back and reference those chapters. Now, this isn't to say you shouldn't expose yourself to new ideas when reading. Of course you should, but don't be afraid to filter through and get what you need out of reading each book. So guys, I hope all that stuff helps. Let me know if you've enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to know more about, whether it be about reading, our series on wealth creation, personal development, productivity. I'm here to help. And as always, take care of yourself.